Iman here from Design by Iman, and if you're building a home, you need to stop and watch this video because I've got some great ideas that you can incorporate into your next home. Before we begin, if you can please like and subscribe below, it'll really help me create some awesome content for you guys in the future. Let's get started. So, what do people first see when they walk up to your house? It's your entry door. So, take a second, make sure that you're picking the right door for your home because it's really the first thing that they're gonna see, and it really does add a lot of curb appeal. I would definitely recommend going with an oversized grand entry door. These options are awesome. You can go with something curved or round with windows on either side. You can also go with different textures like wood, or you can also do something like a double height like they've got here on the right. Apart from doors, we have windows, which is probably one of the most important things in a new build, and it's one of those things that are really tough to do in a renovation. So because you're building new, go as big as possible and in the right areas. You don't always need windows on the side of your house facing your neighbors, but you definitely want to maximize on the view. Here we've got some really high windows that are actually double height. You can do them with mullions, which are the separators in the middle, or you can go with really oversized glass like we've got here on the right. These would be very costly, but as big as you can go for the budget would be my recommendation. Here again, we've got a double height window. You also have windows through the staircase. And on the right, we do have the double height, but they've also done a slanted roof, which really does add a lot of appeal. Curves are back, as you know, so adding curved windows is a great option as well. Here are some curved options that look out onto the exterior. The one on the right actually looks out into a central courtyard. You can also go with kind of an extended curve, which is the one on the left, or you can go with something on the right, which has smaller windows, but they've got the black detailing, which really adds a lot of boldness to the room. You can also add more mullions to the windows, which are the separators, and it actually adds a little bit more interest to the window. Like you see here, these are both curved options. So you've got your big door, you've got your big windows. What's next? You want to go with really high ceilings. And I can't stress this enough. If you have the opportunity to even lose a little bit of room on your second floor, do it, because high ceilings will create so much drama in this space and it really makes the space feel amazing. Here are some examples of double height spaces where you can actually do a really, really high stone on your fireplace. And again, you can go with higher windows because of the double height. On the right, you can see that they've gone ahead with a really oversized light fixture because of the double height ceiling. In this option here, you can actually have your second floor overlook your main floor. And again, you can only do this when you've got the open to below. And there's another example of going with a book match stone, which actually carries your eye all the way up, but also makes the fireplace look fantastic. Now, you might not always be able to build higher, but you might want to build lower. And what I mean by that is going with a dropped living room. These are becoming more and more popular because they really do create a common conversation area. So I'll show you some options here. So here we've got a integrated square dropped living room, and we're using various materials like woods. You can also go with something like concrete, which is on the right. Again, here you've got a drop with a couple steps down, and it really does make the living room feel a lot more cozy. You can also go with a curved drop. So if you want to create a rounded conversational area and curved furniture, this is another great option. And here you can see again that they've done a curved dropped living room, but what's really neat about these ones are that the furniture is integrated right into the edge of that curve, which again just makes for a really sleek space. Next up is planned storage. So storage you can do a lot of in a renovation, but with a new build, what's really nice is that you can actually create walls to have storage push back into the wall so that it creates a really nice flush line. Here on the left, we have planned storage from scratch, and it actually looks like it's a part of the wall. On the right, again, we have storage where the wall is integrated right into the closet space. And here you can see it from two different angles, where the storage actually is built right in to the side of the home. Again, just capitalizing on storage space, but also keeping things feel really clean and integrated. Now, one of the things that's really hard to change when you're doing a renovation is your ceiling. You can change the texture, but changing the heights is really difficult, and that can only be done when you're doing a new build or a really major renovation, which is basically like a new build. So let's talk about some amazing ceiling options that you can incorporate into your next space. Here you can go with a squared ceiling on the left, which is more of a part of a modern interior. On the right, you can do a drop with, again, integrated lighting, and you can play on textures like wood and drywall together. You can also do a curved ceiling, which really creates a awesome vestibule or entryway. So this really creates that dome appearance. And on the right, we have the same concept, but it's actually done with a square, and it gives you a great opportunity to display some awesome lighting. And here you can also go with curved options. Here it really feels like you're walking into a Spanish church where they've got arches in the ceiling, but they've also highlighted these arches using an LED strip light. And you can also do a wave-like pattern on the ceiling like you've got here on the right, and it really just creates another dimension to the room. Now, having a nice ceiling is important, but just as important is incorporating the drapery into the ceiling. So what I mean by that is creating drapery pockets as well as valances. Here on the left, you can see that the drapery actually hangs from a higher level than the rest of the ceiling, so you don't actually see any track. And you can see it again here on the right where they've actually done an LED light highlighting the fact that this ceiling is actually higher than the rest of the space. Now, whether you're doing drapery or blinds, you can also do the same concept. So here we've got two examples of a hidden blind pocket. Typically the blind pockets are between 4 to 6 inches, so you want to make sure that you're leaving an adequate amount of space. But if you do want to go with a blind, make sure that you're thinking about how wide that blind is going to be, because they do come in maximum sizes. Now, if you live in a country like Canada, typically you will have a basement. And if you are digging for a basement, you want to go as deep as possible. No one wants to come into a basement with 7 or 8 foot ceilings. I'd recommend a minimum of 9, but I've gone as deep as 12. So depending on what your budget allows, go as deep as possible to make that basement really feel like a part of the rest of the house. Here are some examples. We're on the left, and on the right, we both have walkout basements, which means that you can go right out to your backyard from your basement, and these spaces do not feel like basements at all. And here are some more examples where they have gone deeper with the basement, and even though the windows are higher up, it still feels more grand than your typical basement. And last but not least are your outdoor living spaces. So I'm not talking about your backyard, which is really far away. I'm talking about the outdoor living spaces that are actually connected to your home. So let's take a look at some examples. So here we have a pergola, which actually connects both the right and left side of the home, and it creates almost a separate living space outside. This is something that you can only do when you're doing a new build. And here you can see another view where you actually feel like you're kind of inside the home, but it's actually all outdoors. And if you're able to create an outdoor space on the middle of your home, these are amazing. You can typically do a green area, or some sort of a sanctuary where you can go in and you're actually outside, but you're covered on all 4 sides, which is amazing. And when your living space and your exterior are connected, you want to make sure that there's a nice natural flow. You can do this by having the same surface of materials, or even just having the same level. Here we have a beautiful living room which has the windows open up in such a way that it really does make the 2 spaces feel more connected. With this one here, the windows open up so much, so it really just feels like there's no separation between the interior and the exterior. And if you have the opportunity, I would go with a dropped living room on the exterior. You can actually create both either a curved or a square sunken living room on the exterior with a central fire pit, and it really feels like an outdoor oasis. So if you're building a new home, don't forget these points of your entrance door, the ceilings, the height of the ceilings, the size of the windows, the depth of the basement. Try to incorporate as many of these details as possible and as much as your budget will allow. And these are the items that you cannot change once the home is built. So you're better off investing in these than some of the other interior elements. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below, or be sure to share it with a friend. And if you are building a new home, I'd be happy to assist. So no matter where you are in the world, I have clients just about everywhere. And now with modern day technology, we can definitely design your home remotely. So my information will be in the description below, and I will be sure to see you on the next video.